Welcome, everybody, to a very special edition of the Parents Lounge. I'm Jamie Kaler, joined by my partner, Mr. Jason Gowan.
Hello.
Dude, we are here at a weird time on a Monday, and I couldn't be more excited. This is going to be super fun today.
Hello. I'm very excited that we're actually doing a show during a time that's for humans instead of when I'm forced to do West Coast shows.
All right, the whole thing about the show today, we have the moms of Tampa on. Tiffany and Megan are going to be here. They're already here. They're in the green room waiting. They're readjusting their camera, kibitzing among themselves. It's pretty funny. They are awesome. This is going to be super fun. So
I'm super excited. Yes.
It's only 2 o'clock here on the West Coast. It's 5 o'clock, but this is their normal time for their show. So apparently, everybody who watches them drinks heavily. I believe, right? It's all about
I've actually started already. I'm drinking you already made fun of me about this, but I'm drinking a maple pear because I'm 85. Dude,
it's 2 in the afternoon here, and because of these two, I'm going straight for the mango White Claw.
I like it. We can get some recommendations from them.
This is gonna be. I love these guys. Here's what's funny, and we'll talk about it later. When we kind of booked them and stuff, I was like, oh, what? And then I deep dived in their stuff, and that's not a euphemism whatsoever.
Well, now you've made it creepy and weird.
I got creepy for a second, but I'm married with kids, so it's going to be fine. I love them. They're doing the Bruce Willis, the Kate Hudson, Kurt Russell. They need to write a book, and then it'll turn into a movie because these guys are doing parenting the right way. So Kate Mulligan's going to join us, and we have the moms of Tampa, Tiffany and Megan. We're going to play our opening title song to give you 90 seconds to go dig around somewhere in like some drawer in your refrigerator and find some type of light seltzery Aperol spritzer drink. And then we'll get to the bottom of how, as a divorced couple, you can co-parent beautifully.
I have questions.
Oh, I don't have any answers, but I got a lot of questions. So if you guys are ready, the moms of Tampa are going to be here in about 90 seconds. So hit it. We could have homes on separate coasts, go dive in Greece with squids. Could have been so bleeping rich, but instead we had kids. They won't smile for a photo, they won't eat the food we choose. That's why we're heading to the Parents Lounge to drown ourselves in booze. Every day we're more exhausted, we haven't slept in years. They hit me in the nuts so bad, my eyes filled up with tears. And yes, we'd like to fake our death and go off of the grids, but the truth is we are softies and we truly love our kids. So join us every Tuesday night to laugh at all our pain. Evening in the Parents Lounge is the cure to staying sane. Welcome, everybody, to a very special edition of the Parents Lounge. I hope you all got a drink. Kate Mulligan is joining us as always, and our special guests. Did you guys run a drink? The moms of Tampa are here.
Cheers. What are you ladies drinking?
Tiffany and Megan, and you guys are the moms of Tampa. And from what I understand, and this, please, we're going to hear this story from you, but one is the bio mom and one is the stepmom, and you guys are absolute besties now. And it's all about raising the kids, right?
Yes, 100%. And the husband's half the time, but that's a whole different story. Yeah.
Could you give my wife some pointers? Apparently, she's also in that place.
Oh no!
Raising a husband and kids.
We'll adopt her. It'll be fine.
Tell us the whole story. So, Tiffany is the real mom.
No. Also, Jamie, time out. We don't say real mom.
Mulligan take over.
Don't say real mom.
That's right. You know what? You're absolutely right. I'm showing my dad ignorance.
The real mom. Okay,
right. First, screw it up, Grandpa.
Let me tell you about my girls here. Okay, Megan, raise your hand, honey. There she is. Hottie number one. Hottie number one's married to Mike. They have a baby, Michael. They get divorced.
Oh, yes. Back in the day, yes.
Back in the day. They get divorced. It's a little messy. Tiffany
a little
at some
messy.
point starts dating Mike and helping to parent Michael when they have custody.
Yes.
This is crazy. Megan brings over a bottle of champagne and a card saying thank you for helping my son Mike. The ways in which I cannot relate to this sort of kindness, this kind of empathy, this kind of sisterhood. Whew, everybody needs to be these women. And then they just basically hit it off. They find common ground. Oh, we both like makeup. Oh, we both are excited about this. Oh, we both love alcohol.
Yeah.
I mean, look at, and also they're like, honestly, I don't like either of them. Look how hot they are. You know what I mean?
Well, honestly, it makes me kind of think their husband or the former husband is a total dick because look at the talent that dude's pulling. That guy is really, I mean, he must have some serious skills, right? To land both of you.
Oh,
I wouldn't say skills. He's gotten lucky. I'll give him that.
I'll give him that. He can sell a hot or what's the thing like a ketchup popsicle to a woman wearing white gloves on a Sunday. Like,
is that how? What makes him so likable and attractive? I guess.
Well, I was 18 when I met him, so
Okay.
I think we met him and I guess dated him for two very different reasons. They were both young when they got together. They got married super quick.
yeah.
Well, did you have to get married? Was it a wink wink married? No.
I grew up in like a very religious household, and as soon as I turned 18, I bolted. I met Mike, and Mike was like, "Hey, girl, I got you. I'll promise you the world. You never have to work a day in your life." And I was like, at 18, I was like, "Hell yeah!" So we went and we started living together. Literally 3 months later, known him for 3 months, we got married. 2 years into our marriage, that's when we had Michael. Mm-hmm. So, not a shotgun wedding.
Yeah.
How long were you guys married?
For 4.5 years.
Okay, so quite a while.
Yeah.
Tiffany, have you beat that record yet?
Oh,
we've been together for almost 9 years now. So
wow, okay.
It's been a minute. But I had to wait. So he did 3 months before they got married, and he made me wait like 5 years because he was like, "I'm never rushing again."
Yeah.
And I was like, let's go. Like, I can't wait another year. Like, this is exhausting. But I get why he was waiting and why he was so cautious. I was just like, let's go, dude. Like, I've never been married. I have no fears or worries. Like, why are you so worried?
Yeah. I think the thing that's so incredible about this is I feel like people can't even get along anymore. Like if you voted differently than somebody, people are like, ah! So the fact that you two, it's just such a beautiful reminder for all of us, like find common ground. Is the common ground that we both love our son? Is it that, we both love makeup as well? And then you two go off and you actually genuinely have so much fun. I was thinking about it. It's like if you heard Beethoven and you're like, oh, this is really good music. And then somebody's like, but he was deaf. You're like, whoa! And with you guys,
Beethoven the dog.
No, different than the dog. Yes, different than the dog, Jason. But it's like you two, it's like watching these two friends on the internet have fun and get booze. And then you're like, no. She's married to his ex-husband. You're like, what? It's like, it doesn't compute to any of us because we're still mad that the neighbor put their garbage bins out the night before. You know what I mean? It's like
that's the common assumption or the common shock factor that everyone had. I actually took Megan with me to my grandmother's house one time. We were doing something together, so we needed a place to stay for a few hours. And my grandmother was doing small talk, and she was like, "So, Megan, do you have any kids?" And she was like, "Yeah." She's like,
"Michael's my kid."
Yeah, we share a child. And my grandmother was like, "What?" Like,
they started talking in Spanish, and I was just like,
was
what is going on?
Grandma ready to end Megan?
I'm sorry?
Was Grandma ready was Abuela ready to kill Megan?
She was very concerned that I didn't understand who Megan was. And I was like, yes, Megan's the ex-wife who used to be with my husband, who was the mother of my stepson. And she's like, but do you know, like, they were together? And I was like, yes, I know. And I'm like, we you know, have had our moments. We've talked things out, like, we're just good and through. And I'm like, I know who I invited into, you know, your home. And she was like, that's crazy. She's like, I'm so happy for you guys. And she's like, that's crazy. And it's just, it's not something, especially in Hispanic cultures, to be very common. So she was like, it's crazy that you guys don't automatically hate each other. And I'm like, but why? Why would I hate her? There was no cheating. There was no drama. Like, why should I automatically hate this woman? Mm-hmm. And she kind of was like, yeah, that's true. And kind of just let it go. But it's the first thing that people think of is like, why aren't you guys fighting? Or you guys are about to fight soon enough. And it's like, why does it have to be the go-to?
Yep, 100%.
I mean, I'm going to be honest right now. If my ex-wife and my wife met in a Walmart or Target parking lot, there's like an 80% chance somebody would get stabbed.
But
that's true.
Okay, so people say all the time, like, oh, he's got a type, whatever. Like, you know, they compare us and, you know, contrast us all the time. But you know, if once you take the ex-wife and the new wife out of it, right? Take those titles off. And let's say you obviously, you know, your ex-wife and you know your new wife very well. If they were to meet in a Target bathroom
as strangers,
would they get along? And I've always said, like, if I would have met her at the club in the bathroom or at a Target, you know, dollar section, you know, when we were looking at the same decorations, like, I feel like her and I would have found each other in another life somewhere where she wasn't with my ex. We have so much in common.
Right.
We've been friends no matter what.
Yeah.
You know, we just happen to find each other in this life, you know. As
the husband, every time I walked into the house and I saw the two of you and it was like my ex-wife and my wife, I'd be like, oh shit, what are they talking about? Oh.
How does he feel about it?
I mean, you must light that guy up. Like when you guys have a fight, you must go to her and go like, oh my God, Mike did this, and the other one's like, that's why we're not together. He's
he gets roasted a lot. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, he gets roasted all the time. He's super supportive. He loves that we're friends. He knows how we are and how we struggle to make friends as it is. So he likes that we have someone to do things with. He gets to see his son more. But he'll walk in the door and he'll be like, Dad, he's like, are you serious? You guys are together again? And we're like, yes, we are. And he's like, really? He's like, I need to go somewhere else.
But
like, bye.
I'm remarried and my husband is just as equally roasted. Like her and my husband have a great relationship. The relationship between my son that I have with my current husband, he's thrown in the mix. Like we're all literally like a blended family. My dad still roasts Mike to this day. They're still really close and, you know, really good. Like it's fine.
Yeah.
What do you do? I mean, this is the other thing, like girlfriend code is you always got a bag on your girl's ex. You always gotta be like, he was terrible. So now what do you do when like, you're like, yeah, you're too good for him. You're like, oh shit, I'm with him. Like, do you ever have to, like, you just stay away from that topic, I guess.
Sometimes, you know, I mean, she knows. I mean, we've had quite a few drinks and, you know, we've had a lot of girls' nights and she knows everything that went on in my marriage, but the person I was married to is not who he is today. You know, like he's grown and, you know, you're willing to change for the right person. And this is his person. So he's not the same man, which is why I get along with him so much better as a co-parent than I did when we were married. He's just not the same. So, I mean, sometimes, you know, we'll talk and I'll be like, oh, well, you know, whatever. And she's a good friend. Like we always say, we all have to wear like different hats. Like she really is my best friend. So sometimes she's got to wear like the best friend hat. Sometimes she's got to wear like the co-parent hat, the therapist hat, whatever. And she's really good about like listening and being like, okay, but then also knowing like that's not the same man I'm married to.
I can't even imagine being married at 18. I mean, that to me.
Oh my God.
Okay, but that's
I'm like,
I'm barely able to grasp that I'm married at 40.
I got married at 48. So
I was gonna say time out. Yeah, Jamie, can you guys imagine being married at 48 for the first time?
No. I told my husband that I'm married to now, I was like, I will never get married again. Like, I'm perfectly fine just living together and, you know, like, if you want a kid, like, whatever. But my husband was very insistent on being married. And I was like, fine.
You have two total, Megan?
I guess.
You have two sons?
I have 2 sons, correct.
Okay.
Michael and Bryce. Thank you.
Michael and Bryce.
Yes.
Bryce, yeah. I got to tell you, that little Bryce, ooh, when you guys got in the car to do self-care day before Seltzerland, but it got canceled or whatever, Bryce, so they get in the car and he wants to show Tiffany his art or his school project. It's the sweet, it's like eating candy. It's so sweet. You're like, he wants to show stepmommy. He wants stepmommy to be happy.
It's
And it
not
was-
his stepmom, it's his bonus mom. It's a mom that he
One
gets.
of our regulars, he
Bonus
goes,
mom,
"I was
that's
married
right.
at 18, it sucked. I mean, yeah, I mean, you got married at 18, you never really went out and kind of tore it up.
Especially
I feel like you girls are tearing it up now, though. Like,
household, I never got to do anything.
Yeah.
Like I was on a very tight leash. So I met Mike on MySpace back in the day.
I can't with you.
Wow.
MySpace.
MySpace.
But I knew him through mutual friends. Like he was
Who,
friends
Tom?
with a couple of my friends. So I knew
Nobody
him.
with the MySpace joke.
I like that one. Tom, I like that one.
That was the only guy I can remember from MySpace. Wasn't it Tom? Isn't that the guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tom was everybody's friend.
Tom was all of our friends. Yeah.
has anybody heard from Tom recently? Like, he never reaches out. I feel
Is
bad.
Tom okay?
He had so many
Tom's
friends, but I
probably
don't think he's
still
doing well.
on
I feel
Twitter,
like
or not Twitter, TikTok as like user 36457.
Is he the one sending us all that hate?
I'll tell you what, Tom's my ex, but I'm now friends with his new wife, so it's all good.
I love that for you.
I love that for me too. Thank you.
honestly, part of me wants. Well, here's what I also question is like, I think sometimes like if the divorce is so acrimonious that it's just hateful, I think it would be harder. But it seems like maybe both of you guys were like, look, we obviously got married way too young. This is crazy. Mm-hmm. Was it an amicable split when you guys first divorced?
It really, it pretty much was. I mean, we held on way longer than we needed to, and it reached a point where we realized, like, hey, at least for me, I'll speak for myself because Mike isn't here. For me personally, I realized I grew up in divorce. So I didn't want to raise Michael thinking that this was a normal relationship. Right. Like I wanted him to see me happy, and that meant more to me than being in a relationship where he was going to see me struggling and whatever. And same thing for his dad. I wanted his dad to be happy. Like I wasn't making him happy, and it was obviously obvious. So yeah.
You bring up something so interesting, which is I do think, and I know you guys are younger than me, but I do feel like my generation and the generations behind me, the majority are children of divorce. And I do wonder if, because that's the way that we grow up, if there is going to be this shift towards what you two are, the way you two operate. Like, are you finding that a lot of people reach out and you're like, oh, we're so glad to see ourselves represented because I also am co-parenting? Or are you finding that people like us are mostly shocked? Like, how is that possible? I didn't know that was a thing.
It's a little bit of 50-50,
I think so. Yeah, I think a lot of younger people, like once you go through divorce and seeing how toxic it is, that no one wants to go through that. But if you happen to go through that, you're thinking like, my first objective is to not do what my parents did to me, and you want to be better. And it's a lot harder, but you're willing to do it because you know how it affected you. So we get a lot of people who say like they've grown up in divorce. They went through a divorce and they were like, I'm not continuing this. Like, I'm going to do something better. And I'm so glad that you guys are showing that it's okay to end in a divorce, and it's okay to still be kind and respectful and even friendly to each other. Like, you don't have to be like, oh, they're friends, like they should have never divorced, or they're secretly doing something together. Like, no, it's healthier to separate, and that should be fine.
Yeah.
And we both grew up like being super close with our stepmoms. And I think that was a big change was, when I obviously, like I said, I grew up with divorce, and me loving my stepmom as much as I did, like when Mike and I decided to divorce, and I knew that eventually Michael was going to get another stepmom and I was going to remarry. I was like, I don't want him to feel guilty for loving his stepmom. Like I was made to feel guilty for loving my stepmom, like I want him to have a good relationship with her. And I would like to get to know who's raising my child 50% of the time. And yeah, I think a lot of people reach out to us, and they either are doing the same thing we're doing, they're on their way to doing the same thing, or they want to do the same thing. So
I've seen people tolerating each other, but I've never seen it go to the level that you guys have taken it. And I love it because your son benefits from this in so many ways.
100%.
And it's insane that so many people say, like, I could never do that, or I would never want to do that. Like, I was on the same boat when Mike told me that he had an ex-wife and it was the mother of his child. I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, we have to have her in our lives. But I was like, we're not living close to her. Like, I'm not going to be around her because that's so weird. And he wanted to move closer to her. And I was like, absolutely not. And I'm like, you can move by yourself, but I'm not moving with you because I just didn't want to like go to the supermarket and run into her because it was going to be so weird. And as soon as I met her, I was texting him. I'm like, you know, her house next door like is available if you want to move in. Like we can move in like tomorrow. It is free and ready to go. Like let's do this.
So do you guys are next door?
No.
Not yet.
Not yet.
No, not yet. We're actively looking.
He didn't bite on that offer, unfortunately.
I would be totally fine with them. Like, I mean, we've always joked about having like a giant piece of property, not living like next door, having like a huge lake between us. And then a she shed, like in the middle.
She shed in the middle for us.
Yes.
To live together.
Getting home after White Claw Wednesday a little easier.
Yeah.
Just roll home. It's so,
the divorce sounds, the divorce doesn't sound fun, but I gotta tell you, joint custody sounds pretty great to me. I don't know. Am I the only one who's like, wouldn't it be great to have a week on, week off with your kids? I think it sounds fantastic.
It honestly, like, it does suck. I mean, it sucks not being able to see your kid every single week, but
you're saying it sucks. No, I'm saying it would be awesome.
well, maybe for you, but I still have a kid 100% of the time. I have a kid with my husband right now, so
That's true.
He gets to have a kid.
If you were really cool and you were really her friend, you could take both. I mean, come on.
He does.
You do. That's pretty cool.
Well, that's what I thought.
He's taking them both next week.
I'm taking both. We're taking them both next week. And honestly, the younger one who isn't related to me technically is so much easier than the older one because now he like has the attitude and personality.
He's 18, so he's going through it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we share the whole custody. And I'm like, how about we switch the custodies? How about we switch with the younger one? And, just do this.
Like, it's a no for me. No, we text all the time and we're like, can you believe? He's like, listen,
How would you guys feel if I just, slapped my twin 3-year-olds on a plane and shipped them down for a week?
And
I would take the 3-year-old if you would take the 11-year-old because he's going through and it's hard to like. So this is what people don't understand is yes, like Mike and I, we raised a kid up until almost 3 years old together. And I have a 5-year-old now. I've been through the first 5 years. This is our first time for both of us raising a preteen. Like I've never done this before and she's never done this before. And
it's probably why we drink so much, honestly.
Like the preteen.
That's where we're at.
Not only that, but when my daughter's 11, when my daughter's 11, I'm going to be 61 years old. So let's just really do some math for a second, shall we? There's a reason people have children young, and I was like, yeah, I'll have it whenever. And then now I'm starting to do the math, and it's really my daughter's 9, and she won't. She's killing me. Yeah.
I can't imagine with a girl, at least with the boys, they're getting like independent and doing their own thing. Like we're lucky in that aspect. I just pray if we ever have a girl in our family. I don't know how we can handle this. It's 4 of us against 2 kids and it's still a struggle. Like we will literally be like, whose turn is it next? Because I can't keep doing this.
I hope it's you. I'm not having any more kids.
I have a suggestion then. If you're not going to have any more kids, what you guys should do is you should divorce again. And bring 2 more guys.
And add a 3rd mom into the mix.
And then you add some more moms.
Best pyramid scheme.
You know what? It would make editing content so much easier if we had a 3rd mom.
Yeah.
You guys
switch off roles.
Fine, I'll do it, guys. Fine.
All right,
honestly, I love the pyramid scheme of parenting. Like you have to bring somebody in to help.
Since Megan's at the top, she's going to get a kickback from both Tiffany, and then if Kate comes in under Tiffany, then Megan gets a kickback from both. You're going to make out on this, Megan.
It's there we go. Megan's the top tier over here.
So do I have to get divorced, or do you have to get divorced? Do we both get divorced?
Everybody gets divorced. Everybody gets divorced.
So actually, Megan, if you both get divorced, then you get Tiffany's plus yours. You're gonna get both.
He does. Yeah, that's double. I just get one because it's just one underneath.
Girl, somebody answering emails and all kinds. Then we just have like a whole Moms of Tampa cult.
Yep.
Love it.
It's like Nexium, but Tampa.
Yeah.
See that documentary? It's just like a secret society.
So how did you guys, what made you start the Moms of Tampa? Like, obviously you guys were buddies and you're like, maybe we should do this online.
That was totally 100% by accident. Yes. So I originally had a beauty account because I used to do makeup, and COVID hit. I was doing the beauty account by myself, and it was lonely and it was really awkward because like TikTok is such a teenage world, and it was 26-year-old me doing it by myself.
Wait, you guys aren't 19 years old? That's a crazy. You look 19. What?
They're both. She just said she was 26.
Joking. I'm joking, Mulligan.
I'm 28. I'm 28 now.
You still have a 2 on the front. I can't even with you. I can't even with you.
Girl, I can't even with her either. Trust me.
So I was young. I was in my 20s doing TikTok in a world of teenagers. And I was like, I don't want to do this by myself. So Megan and I had already become friends, but we weren't like besties. We were just kind of like hanging out, having fun.
We were besties though, but we were just afraid to tell each other.
Yes,
like,
afraid to tell each other.
But I don't want to seem weird. So we just didn't talk.
I was forcing her to do TikToks with me because she felt like she was too old to do it.
I was definitely too old to be on TikTok. I was 30 and I was like,
I made her do it regardless. And everyone kept asking because they were so used to the content being just me. They're like, who is this new girl? They're like, is it a friend? Is it a coworker? And I'm like, oh no, it's my husband's ex-wife. And people were like blown.
You're like, sit down.
Blew up on TikTok. So it was insane. And because the beauty channel was under my name, I was like, let's find something that we can do together. And for some reason, whoever owned Moms of Tampa beforehand released it that same week. And I just snatched it up. And I was like, Megan, this is our new name. And it was already established. It had a following. It had hashtags. We just took it and turned it into co-parenting.
Well, it's not like we bought the handle in it. Or had followers
we took
on
it while it
was we had it when it was at zero.
Yeah.
It had a hashtag that had like people
Wait,
already.
So when Mike remarried, you're younger than you guys have it. There's an age gap. Like when he
10
remarried.
years,
So Mike and I have a 10-year gap, and you guys had
we have a
6-year gap.
So what happens? So what happens in 10 years when Mike tries to Russian doll the whole thing? You know the Russian doll routine where
so he's a
just
lot
keep
older
going.
now, and he can't run as fast.
He can't run. He's got bad back. His knees are messed up. Like, and he's got both of us now.
Yeah, he really can't run far with 2 people who are younger. So he really doesn't stand a chance, unfortunately.
He doesn't have the game.
He's probably not going to luck out a third time. Like, let's face it.
No.
He's lost a step or 2 is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for him.
Yeah.
Oh, are you
He
kidding?
did say though, on my birthday,
11-year-old
so I
son? Yes,
just
he's
turned-
lost the step.
He lost it. Yeah, on my 28th birthday, which was last month. Instead of just saying happy birthday to me, he woke me up and told me, he's like, you are the oldest woman I've ever been with.
Did you cut him?
I'm gonna need Mike's number. I'm gonna need Mike's number.
Dying. I was like, thank you. Like,
So embarrassing for you. I love that.
I said that. I believe I said that to my wife at some point as well. It's a guy thing. It's a guy thing.
I will say, speaking of it's a guy thing, Jamie, I think this is what I love about you two being out there. I love the positivity you bring out there. You're not, and here's the thing, you're not trying to be out there like ding, 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 like it's not, it doesn't feel like it's wholesome content. And I mean, no shade by that. I just mean like, cause you're both total barachas, let's be honest. Okay. No, I'm kidding. But what I will say is that like, I do think it is way more common for dude exes like to get along. I just feel like dudes, for whatever reason, like
women are catty.
And it's like if we just stopped and looked and said, it doesn't have to be that deep. It doesn't have to be this nasty. What is the common ground here? I used to be so, my now husband had a girlfriend of 8 years when I met him. And I was so threatened by her. I'd been dating him a month. I'd been dating him 2 months. And he's had this girlfriend. How could I possibly compete? And as soon as you like realize it's not about it's me. I got to be me. And if he accepts me for me, we're good. Anybody else doesn't matter. And as soon as I could let that go, and then I realized, wait a minute. He did this to her. I was like, oh, I'm team her now. I'm team her. Like, and as soon as you can make that switch, you're like, because there is like, we do have a sisterhood. I just imagine like Jamie, like if you ever, like if God forbid, but like if you and your wife ever got divorced, you would be totally chill with the next guy she's with. I just don't imagine you having problems with him.
Yeah.
Couldn't care less.
I think I'd be okay with everything, but
I know that's what I'm saying. I just feel like it's very common for men to get along and it's not for women. And I love that you guys are out there showing women getting along with women.
Well, whenever we walk into like an audition in Hollywood, the guys are checking out the girls, right, to see the hot chicks, and the
girls are
checking out the girls. Like the girls, it's like that's.
Hi, it's so good to see. Here, Jamie. Okay, you're a girl. I'm a girl. Well, let's show up at this audition together, okay?
Okay.
Oh my God, it's so good to see you. It's so good to see you. Oh my God, you look amazing.
He's so good.
I love it.
You look amazing though.
You look amazing. Did you? Oh my gosh, I love that top. It doesn't even show that you've gained weight. It looks amazing on you. Like women are awful to each other.
And they don't get
100%.
That's why we don't have any friends. Like she made a comment earlier about how we don't have any friends. It's because the reason I love her so much is we just don't put up with anything. And
you don't seem to. I
smell a fake woman from a mile away. And I'm 32 years old. I don't have time for that. I'm sorry. I'm a wife. I'm a mother. Like I just don't have. I'd rather be by myself, hanging out with my kids, than hanging around with fake women. Period. Yeah. Like I don't care. She's very real. Like, and I just love her so much. Oh. Women are just very catty. But men, like, I feel like it took our husbands are really good friends now.
It's a
were they friends before, or they met after you guys got married? They didn't know each other beforehand.
No.
I mean, they saw each other at like events. Oh, wait.
They didn't know each other before you guys got married.
Oh, no.
They were like sheriff's passing of the night at like the birthday party for your
Yeah, I mean, we were always cordial. Like we never wanted to be nasty or anything in front of the kids. It was always just like hi and bye. Like we always sat next to each other during like events and stuff. So Michael didn't feel like he had to look here and look here and look here for his parents. We always sat in the same row. We always saved seats for each other. But it was just like, hey, we're here, and that's it. Her and I became friends, and we started hanging out. We never forced our husbands to like, oh, you should go hang out with whoever.
Befriend each other. We were just like, hey, Megan and I are hanging out. You guys can come along, or
if you want to or not. And then they eventually. Now it's like, damn, like my husband. Oh, darn, my husband texted me yesterday, and he's like, I'm going fishing. So, and Mike's coming. So we're gonna be gone for 12 hours.
They made plans without us and still leave us with the kids. So we're still watching the kids no matter what.
I thought that they would be watching the kids while we were doing Moms in Tampa, and now they're out all the time, like living their best lives, and it's us still watching the kids.
Yeah.
You got to get rid of them. 2 new guys. You got to get 2 new guys.
And they're both so just like, is childish the right word?
Oh, 100%. It's when all 6 of us are together. It's like taking care of 4 kids. We have to separate the actual children and then the men children together. Like we're like, y'all can't keep doing this if y'all can't play nice. Like this is a hot mess.
Give me particulars, because my wife would say the same thing probably. Like how specifically are they behaving childish?
We had a brand deal at we were at the South Shore like thing. The lagoon.
Like a water park.
It was a water park thing. We had to film, and they invited us there, whatever. Our husbands were like backflipping, like it said, like don't backflip. Our husbands were backflipping on the stuff, like breaking the rule, like jumping, throwing football, and then like there was like a family kayaking, and my husband's like catch, and I'm like, baby, I don't want to catch, baby, like catch, and like throwing balls at them and stuff, and I'm like,
we're recording, and their football hits our drinks and spills everywhere.
All over the place. They're like splashing water all over us, and I'm like, you guys, I'm never inviting you again. Like I swear to God.
And these are just the husbands. Like the kids were just playing nicely in the water. Like we're yelling at the husbands.
That sounds right.
I think, Jamie, I feel like you have this a little bit too, Jason. I think you do too. There is something about like dads really like to be the playmate. And then the moms have to be the bad guys that are like, oh, guys, actually, we can't ride on top of the car today. Sorry. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, why am I telling this to a 40-year-old man?
I'm going to be honest. I have vilified my wife and we call her, Jason, I call her, our 6-year-old, we call her fun killer because she will just crush the souls of anybody who is fun.
No, she's the safety advisor and you're a child.
But my wife sometimes goes a little far with the safety advisor.
Okay, that may be true. That may be true.
She gets terrified. She'll read a news story about something that happens, like a kid climbed in a dryer and get killed. She's like, we got to get rid of the dryer now.
That's like, honestly, like our son just broke his leg. When was it? In May. He was literally just like cleaning out. We went kayaking and he was cleaning out the truck with my husband. And my husband had runners on his truck that had bars like this, and his foot slipped. He's had a runner for 6 years on his truck, never had an incident. 6 years later, our 11-year-old snapped his leg. And I'm like, well, runners gotta go. Even though we had them for 6 years, I was like, absolutely not. They gotta go. So I get her, and I like her and I would be friends. Give her my number.
Is there ever a question about, because with me and my wife and I, it's always when the kids get injured, it's whose watch was it on?
Yes.
Like, and usually it's on my wife's watch, and I go, hey, it wasn't me. I wasn't there. I'm not.
That's why I give up sometimes. If there's times where my husband is with Michael and they're doing stuff, and I'll protect like my glass and whatnot. I'll leave his stuff still out.
Your glass,
like the glassware, like the glasses. And then when his stuff breaks, I'm like, that's on you. I took my stuff and I protected it. He broke your stuff. You be angry at the lack of safety in here. I was like, my stuff is safe, so I'm not worried.
I love that.
Tiffany, I have to say, this is going to be, it's an uncouth question, and you do not have to answer it, but you are young. I mean, I know you don't feel it, but you're 28. I didn't have my first son till I was 33. I had my second at 35. They do call it a geriatric pregnancy. Thank you so much. But thank you. But do you feel like, are there more children in your future? Possibly.
So we've been trying. So a lot of people on TikTok, when they see that I'm, being a mom to Megan's kids, they're like, why don't you have kids? And I told them I've had plenty of miscarriages. I have struggled getting pregnant, and I feel for those who also are stepmoms and struggle having their own kids. We are currently in the process of seeing a fertility specialist, but it's still too soon to say anything. But I would love to have kids of my own. I don't care how many at this point. I am grateful for any and all.
A girl.
But Megan has been saying a girl for years now. And if I get a boy, it's her. It's her fault. Like, she brought the boy juju to me, and I'm gonna be so mad because I also would like a girl. But at this point,
so excited.
We're hoping. We've been trying for a long time. We've had a lot of bad news, and we're just hoping that whatever happens, it happens. And I'm not gonna worry. At the end of the day, I still have 2 little boys that I've taken care of the longest. So
that's exactly right.
So if you get the girl, are you just gonna immediately start the Princess of Tampa? I mean, is that gonna happen immediately?
I've already so I've been looking at like clothes and like all kinds of, because I'm not having any more kids. I have 4 brothers. I have all boy cousins. Like, I have 2 sons. Like, there's no girls in my family besides me.
Who's enough?
So excited for her to have children, and whether it be a girl or a boy. God,
yes, of course.
But I'm just really, really, really excited to be able to like take a kid for a couple hours and then return it. You know what I mean? Like, spoil it for it's always been me who's had kids that, like, I have to keep them all the time. But, I love my kids so much, love babies. But I would just love to be like, none of my brothers have kids, and they're not probably going to have kids. And I just want to be like a cool bonus mom / aunt, whatever it's going to be.
Yeah, maybe it's going to be the unofficial bonus mom.
You guys are awesome.
Spoil a child.
You guys, honestly, I
love what you said about you guys specifically had to sit together, so he didn't have to look around the whole place. What other kind of stuff is there? I mean, that's you go, oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. But that's the kind of stuff you would think about when you're trying to raise a kid as like 2 couples. Like, it's such a unique place.
That was literally my childhood. Like, my dad and my stepmom would sit on one side and my mom would sit on another. So that's what I had to do when I was up on stage in whatever concert I was in. I was like, is my dad here? Is my mom here? And I would literally like not even really be singing. It was just like looking for my parents to see who made it. So I didn't want my kids to have to go through that.
Yeah.
And not just that, we started, so for the first 4 years that Megan and I didn't talk, we traded off Michael, where he would just got out of one car and into another car. Like, that's how it always was. Now when we trade off, like, I'm at Megan's house for the whole day. Like, he's not understanding it's a trade-off. It's like so like smooth, where we're hanging out, we're having fun, and then I just secretly leave at the end of the day, and he happens to be in a whole new home.
It's like, secret. Like, he knows Mondays are our busy days that we film content. He knows that.
But it's not as hard. He's not feeling bad that he's like, bye, Dad, bye, Tiffany, and switching over. Like, it's so easy. And if Mike is with me, we'll come here, we'll spend hours here, and then we'll leave, where it's not as hard on him, where he's not like, damn, like, I feel really bad that my parent left, or he's like, you know, I feel guilty. He's kind of like, bye, this is the new week, bye. Like, he just, it's not much for him to think about. Like, he's not seeing arguing. He's not seeing any parents sad or upset leaving. Like, he's seeing us having fun and then leaving to go to our separate homes. Like, it's normal. Like,
and we see each other so much during the week, you know, because her and I obviously started a business together, Moms of Tampa, and we work together so much. But like, even the dads, like, he knows that we're always together. But last week he went fishing for what, like 9 hours with his dad and his stepdad and some other guy that Travis works with. They went fishing all day together, and
it was
like,
Mike's time.
It was Mike's time. Like, they do with the dads. We're together all the time, so he gets to see his brother. They're not part-time brothers. Like, when I grew up, like, I was with my dad every other weekend. I have 2 half brothers that, like, I literally feel like I didn't really grow up with, because I only got to see them 4 days out of the month. You know, he's with his half brother all the time. You know,
well, that's what I was wondering, because Bryce isn't Mike's son. I mean, how often are the boys together? Because they're
all the
half
time.
brothers all the time. Oh, I love that.
They never go more than 2 days without seeing each other. Like, they are together all the time. Michael has a cell phone now that goes to both houses. Michael can call or whatever. Like, we're in constant contact no matter what house he's at. Like, it makes my heart so happy, because I didn't grow up like that. And I don't want him to feel like he has 2 separate families. Like, he knows he does, but
he doesn't have to pick and choose.
Exactly.
Like, even when he wants to do something with all of us together, like, we do a family of 6 trips all the time. And it's bonus parents, bio parents, all the kids, like all 6 of us going together. It's a big crowd. It's a hot mess. There's lots of parents yelling, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Does he play you against each other?
All the time.
Oh my God, yes. Knowing that we talk all the time.
Yeah.
Like, he really does try it. He's hoping for that one slip up, but it's
she said it was okay if I use my iPad.
Yeah, he really does. Like, Daddy said, or Travis said, or whatever, and I'm like, we're all in a group chat, honey. Let me go check real quick. And he's like, no.
It's even worse when they're doing something they're not supposed to, and all 4 of us are there, because all 4 of us notice, and it's just like,
no, you know what we do? It's like, who actually saw it? Because it wasn't me.
No goes.
So, I mean, he goes to school, so I mean, he gets kids who say things. Has he ever talked to you guys about the situation itself? Like, it's not normal that this happens.
The police officer.
You have to talk about this police officer at school.
So he doesn't really talk about, like, co-parenting, saying, is it co-parenting?
The girl that at his school that commented on your TikTok.
So he blasts Moms of Tampa sometimes and lets them know that we do TikToks together. So they'll comment. These kids will comment on my stuff. And unfortunately for these kids, no disrespect to them, as soon as I see a comment that he's a classmate, I block them, because we don't do children on our social media.
No.
But they'll be commenting. They're like, is it real that you're really his stepmom? And I'm like, yes, but block. And then there was one time I had pajamas on. I looked like a hot mess. I
had no bra on. Okay.
Late to dropping him off. And I dropped him off, first of all, in an illegal area of the school that I wasn't supposed to. But I remember the security guard was telling me, he's like, I know who you are. And I was like, okay. And he was like, you're those Moms of Tampa. And he's like, I watch you guys. He's like, that's so cool that you do that. Never again wanted to come back to the school. I was so embarrassed.
And then we would see him, like, because we pick up the kids all the time together, like, and then we do TikToks in the car line, which is so weird, but we still do it, because, you know, you got to make that time work. So we're waiting in the line for like 45 minutes, and we're doing TikToks, and like he would see us and he'd be like,
I know he's watching us.
And I'm like,
he's looking for his 15 minutes. Does anybody ever think that the way the family got reblended was that you 2 got married to each other? Has there been that where they're like, all the time?
Only online though. Like, no one in person has ever said that. And when people meet us, like, because we see, oh my God, especially in the Tampa Bay area, like, we get noticed all the time. Not just on video or anything, but it's honestly like so weird. Once they see us like together in real life, like, no one's ever like, oh my God, married or whatever. Like the people who truly follow us, like, no.
Yeah,
No,
the people who see us in person, if anything, they're like, oh my God, you guys actually are our friends outside of like social media. They're like, I see you together. And I'm like, we are. Like, this is our job. And then on social media, people are confused because they're like, are you guys together or separate? They're like, what's the deal? I'm like, we have 2 husbands. You just don't see them because they weren't.
Like trolls and stuff. He'll be like, oh my God, you guys are married. That's
Yeah.
Like, if you actually followed our channel, you would see that our husbands are posted. You hear us talking about our husbands. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Jobo, one of our friends of the show here, I think he's hit it on the head. I think it's wishful thinking. I think it's just everybody's like, oh, that'd be great.
I'm telling you what, if they don't work out, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, honey.
Platonically, listen.
I think the 2 of you would have beautiful children together.
That's true.
We really would. What are we?
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
It'd be that curly hair though.
The curly hair.
What's some of the craziest troll stuff? Because I think sometimes people just troll you just to they want you to respond. When somebody says something awful, I usually just delete it and move on, because sometimes if you say something back, that's kind of what they want. They want that fight.
Most of the time, isn't it Mulligan that's posting those things?
Yeah, just me. I'm just trolling you usually.
We get trolling comments all the time, and we'll respond to them because I tell them all the time. I'm like, if you really hate us that much, you wouldn't respond. I'm like, at the end of the day, if you don't understand the social media, you're paying us with your comment. I'm like, I will sit here and ask you why you hate us so much,
100%.
but I'm not gonna block you. I'm not gonna delete your comment because you're making me money.
Let's keep it going.
Yeah,
like we get paid for the time you spend on our videos, like the comments, like the engagement. Like, let's keep it going. Like, I have very tough skin. Like I said, I grew up with 4 brothers. My dad thought that roasting us was like a term of endearment.
Yeah.
Like, I grew up getting roasted my whole life.
And I just never, even with us personally not liking people on social media, I've never sat there and sent a hate comment. Like, if I don't like someone, you are removed from me ever seeing you again. I will not give you a dime. But the people who come at us, I'm like, keep going. I'm like, I want to know your life story as to why you got to where you are. That
It's all feeding your algorithm.
You've never met before.
2 mothers, like, what made you spend 45 minutes online trashing
getting
moms
so upset with us?
Like, what?
And it would be for the weirdest things. Like, people will tell us their stories of the thing that their parents or step-parents have done to them, and that's why they don't like us. And I'm like, but I didn't do that to you. Like, I'm sorry that happened, and I can feel and empathize with you, but you hate what we're doing. I'm like, but why?
Like, this is so cringe. You guys are so ugly. You guys are so fat. You guys are so, like, whatever. And
they say that? Fat and ugly?
Oh, yeah.
All the time.
Oh, my God. They say that. We would. Like,
Jamie,
welcome the worst things, like horrible, horrible things. They'll roast our kids, like they'll roast.
But I can see, like, I mean, it's obvious neither of you are fat or ugly. I mean, those 2 alone are like.
That's what I said, but then I'm a narcissist. Okay.
I gotta tell you, Jamie, for a man with a woman's name, you really don't understand what women go through.
Hey, well, I grew up around Jamie Summers, the Bionic Woman, and I was tormented by that.
Nobody.
So my daughter has. We've talked about this before, and honestly, I love that you said my dad kind of roasted me a lot and gave me tough skin, because I'm kind of trying to do that a little bit with my daughter, because she needs glasses and she will not wear them. She'd rather be blind, and so. Like,
how old is she?
Camp, she's just turning 9 in a couple weeks, and somebody at camp said, you look weird in your glasses or something, and she was like in tears and taking. I said, I actually gave her. I said, here's what you should say next time somebody says you look weird in your glasses. Go, at least I can take these off. You just look weird in general, and then just walk away. Just walk away.
First of all,
I started giving her all these comebacks, and I said something about like, oh, that's crap. That's hilarious, because I don't care what you think. Like, whatever.
Oh, yeah. I like the first one better.
And I want to toughen her up so that she's like,
oh my God.
That's what you have
I
to
wish
do.
That's what my dad told me. But I started wearing, do you remember back in the 90s, Coke bottle glasses? Like, the thick. That's what I started wearing in 3rd grade. And maybe that's why. I bet your daughter's
18 to Mike. Now we know what happened.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Glasses are
glasses. Even people who don't need glasses are wearing
glasses. People are like,
glasses are in.
I'm like, I can see. Yeah. I'm like, I can see those are blue light glasses. Take those off.
For no reason. her oldest, he was doing something where he was mocking me, and I was like, oh, well, you're a 4 eyes. And he's like, what does that even mean? And I was like, you've never been bullied, apparently. We've been protecting you way too much because you were okay with this. And he just had no idea. He was just like, it is what it is. And I was like, whatever.
I got bullied so bad in high school, but it was nothing compared to what my own father was saying. But I prepared you. No, seriously though. Like my dad, you know what's funny is like I'm 32. If you look on our videos, if you see someone named Chris Jackson, it's probably the worst bully comment you'll see, but that's my own dad.
No. Yeah. He's bullied us to the point where our followers have attacked him.
Yeah, they attack my dad, and he's like, hey man, hey. And I'm like, Dad, that's what you get. Like our followers are loyal.
Oh, it's hysterical.
And they don't know it's my dad, but
he's probably sitting at like a beach bar right now, bragging about you guys and telling him how he was such a good dad. Because you know what I did? I made fun of her every day, and look how successful she is. Maybe that's the great parenting.
I mean, he prepped you for this whole world.
Yeah,
he, like 100%.
Literally,
might as well.
He told our
you guys have got. Listen, you have to do a book
for like pictures of our feet. Like it's so weird. They always ask us, and he commented to some guy on one of our reels, and he was like, "You don't want," or he's like, "Oh, you want pictures of their feet? Megan has acne and hair all over her feet." It's and he's like going into like grave detail, and the guy's like, "Oh man, are you serious?" And my dad's literally going back and forth with this man about disgusting, and I'm like, "Dad, like what the fuck?" Oh, I know. Sorry. Yeah, that's my dad. I don't have acne on my feet, for the record, but
you're like, but I do have lots of hair. I've got hobbit feet.
But seriously, maybe I don't know. I should probably say that last, but you know, like it's just so embarrassing.
I can't with them.
And there goes our 2 curse words.
You don't torment your dad back.
Oh, we do.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's.
Does he think he's funny?
Like, hey guys, it's my dad.
Yeah.
Was he trying to be a comic his whole life? Was he thinking he was the funny guy?
I think her dad really thought stand-up comedy was his thing, and he's still trying.
It's really funny. But he had kids way too young, so he had me and my brother at like 18 and 19, and then he had my other brothers, and like he's.
Oh, so you guys just broke his soul.
He's very welcoming to that.
He's hilarious. He is really in like a really like raunchy way, but he is really funny.
I can tell. So he would do side splitters. I've done side splitters before.
For sure.
Really?
They have that outside of Tampa?
They do?
Yeah.
Or, I don't know. They had it outside of Tampa.
There I've done as well. Yeah.
You did
side
in
splitters
Tampa though, right, Jamie?
Tampa. Yeah, I love Tampa. Tampa's awesome.
You should come hang out. All of you.
Yeah, we got to do a Parents Lounge show in the club there.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
You guys have got, first of all, the book has to be coming, like parenting.
What are we going to write about, though? Like how to be a decent co-parent? Like common respect, common
exactly.
Be a good person? Like what am I going to write? People say that all the time, and it's like, you just be a decent person.
Yes, this is, but Jamie, this is a question the question for all of you, because I do think your path is not the path everybody should take. And because some people you didn't happen to be with toxic people. Obviously, Tiffany, you're married to a man that is not toxic.
Yeah.
Megan, you are not but there are people that when you get divorced, like obviously if there was ever any physical abuse, you would never recommend trying
100%.
Like there's definitely boundaries that you would, because I think, I'm sure you get this a lot, but Jackie Blue that's in the chat here said, I wish I had what you have, but also it just doesn't, it's not for everyone. So what would your guidelines be for when not to try to co-parent?
If there's any abuse, physical abuse, we say it all the time. Absolutely not. Cheating. I think me personally, if Mike were to cheat on me, I think that I would be able to get over it, because if he cheated on, it didn't happen for the record. If he were to cheat on me with Tiffany, but he were to end up with Tiffany, that's just where life was meant to go. And that's what was meant to happen. And I would be happy not to be with a cheater, and she would be happy to be with whoever she was meant to be with. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sometimes life, it has a funny way of bringing you to where you need to go. That's my own opinion. Some people don't agree because it breaks the families and whatever. That's just my own opinion. I could not quickly, but eventually get over it, to get to where we need to be in parenting, because it's not about you. It's about the child. And
that's the name of the book right there.
Yeah, right there. It's not about you. That's
it's an
it.
adult
That's
situation that has nothing to do with the kids. The kid didn't get cheated on.
Right.
And the kid has nothing to do with that. You know what I mean? So
I would also like to pitch the title for the book, which is The Handoff, which is that moment when you have to hand off the kid from one parent to the other. Just putting it out there, guys.
Yeah. Also, from the stepmom perspective, because I've joined so many stepmom groups on Facebook and whatnot, and I've seen so many. I was 100%. I was like, you need to fight to make sure you have healthy co-parenting. You need to fight to get along with the bio mom and whatnot. And then seeing so many situations that were different from mine, realizing that you could be the nicest, sweetest person to a bio parent, and they're not going to respect that. That it's like, okay, you maybe can't be healthy co-parenting. Like, your mental health is also important and matters. Like, maybe take a transition of maybe backing up, protecting yourself, and maybe just only talking about the child. Don't be friendly. Don't be friends. Don't do what we're doing, because toxic people are not willing to be healthy, and you can't do anything to change it. And there's women who have told us, they're like, what can I do to change this woman? What can I do to make her like me or make her be healthy? And I'm like, you can't. You can't. These people cannot be changed, and you are hurting your own self by trying to do what we're doing. Give yourself a break and just understand it's not going to happen, and just be respectful and keep mindful of, like, this is all about the child. You may hate her, you may not like her, but just do whatever is best for the child and kind of forget about her. You cannot make amends with her.
I would personally try to reach out maybe once and see how it's, reciprocated. And if they're like, hell no, heck no, like whatever, leave the ball in their court. And then when they decide that, hey, maybe they watch one of our videos or something, and they're like, hey, maybe I should reach out. And then they'll remember, like, hey, so and Stephanie or whoever reached out to me and I kind of shot them down. Maybe I should whatever. Or they'll be like, oh, I don't know. Like, just, you should at least try. And then if they don't, I would not keep pursuing, because sometimes it's just not worth it if they don't speak their mind.
You guys are so unique, I think, in the way that you are. You don't seem crazy, which is so weird. There's probably a better way to phrase that. I'm going to say you two seem so sincere and empathetic, and you think about others. Where, I mean, you are the minority, so maybe your book would be here's our story. Take it for what it's worth, because it's never going to work for anybody else, because everyone else is crazy. But
I mean, there may be building blocks in there that people can pick and choose to their situation. There's a lot of, I mean, it's different for everybody.
Maybe.
Do you feel like a real standard too is like, so there's a divorce happened, and you feel like a friendship really needs both people to have moved on with somebody else in order for the friendship to happen?
100%.
That's
not
I
even
found
moved
with my
on
friend.
with someone else, but
just moved on
and
in
accepting.
general.
Yeah,
Like, you don't have to be remarried or whatever for this to work. You just have to be like, there has to be no
leftover
romantic
feelings.
Yeah.
I say it all the time. Like, I'll always love Mike, and like it started out as a romantic love. Those feelings diminished, but I will always love him, like, as a person, as the father of my child. Like, no romantic feelings, but like you can't have hate, you can't have romantic feelings. Like, there's certain things that you have to like move on from, because if you have underlying,
it's really hard. I mean, that's really hard for most people. I think for most people,
it takes a lot of work, and we say that all the time. Like, it's a lot of work.
I also love, like, Megan, you just sat there and you're like, oh yeah, our son broke his leg. It's just like, it's so beautiful. Like,
so many times people they try to pit the kid against each other, and I love that Megan and Tiffany have taken this route with it.
I mean, that the show is My Two Moms, but honestly, I feel like the dual parent thing's already been done to death in the TV world. So I think you're going to need a third woman.
Fine, I'll do it. Fine.
You're in.
So
Mike has to.
I'm not at my ex's house, she's literally like, we do 50-50. So she is the mother to him when I'm not there. And it brings me comfort to know, like, if he needs a story or he needs a hug or he needs, just that motherly figure, and I can't be there, I have someone knowing that he's getting the love and nurturing that only a mother can bring, you know, when I'm not there. So
it's
absolutely.
true. When I think about my best friends, my best friends taking my kids for the day, or my sister taking my kids for the day, like I feel so warm about that. And like, of course, just because that person maybe happens to be your ex's new, it doesn't change the situation. Like there's a tenderness that like the people in my life share with my children. And it's like, it's so precious. And like, that's amazing that you found that with, and it just so happens to be the woman that you're.
But let me ask you, Kate, aren't there tons of people in your family where I would never trust my children with them?
No, 100%. No.
Yes.
I'll bet you're more comfortable having her watch your kids than Mike.
Mike watches my son all the time.
Oh,
but I mean,
there you go.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
if Tiffany's not there, you're like,
think about, oh my God, I left the kids with my husband. Who knows what they're doing back there?
I think she's fully aware that I will make sure he's eating the correct foods, and she knows at least with Mike, the child is alive.
No, listen to this. This past Saturday, I dropped Bryce, my son with my husband currently, off at her house. Her and I went out. We got facials. We got massages. It was Mike who was watching the kids. Both kids the entire day. I packed him a lunch. I texted Mike at noon and I was like, hey, Bryce needs to eat. He was like, he already ate. I have no problem.
All right, Mike.
You sent a lunch. He didn't know how to make a lunch?
That's what the lunch
I don't want it to feel like he has to make, you know, like
I know
that's on me. That's my own.
That's you.
That feels like a mom thing.
Make him
It is a
lunch,
mom thing.
but it's my own personal thing where it's like I don't feel like he shouldn't have to make lunch for me. Like it's my own insecurities. He has no problem making lunch, but it's my own thing.
But his lunches would be different than if it was me though, because I've seen Mike. So Mike and the kids are best friends. Compared to like parents versus children, like I had to yell at all three of them together, 2 kids and an adult. I'm like, you go to this room, you go to our room, you go to that room, because they're just messing around, having fun, having a blast. And I'm like, you're gonna break everything in my house.
No, literally, we had to be on it was like a 5 a.m. flight because we were going to Nashville, her and I were. And I was staying the night at her house because Mike was gonna drive us to the airport in the morning so we can go to Nashville. He was up till like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock with the kids.
With the boys.
He's like, but we all want to watch a movie because they're my best friends. And I'm like,
and we're having to tell them no.
We need to go to bed. Okay, they are not your best friends. We need to go to bed.
Yeah, it was a hot mess.
He's really good with both kids. Yeah. Like Bryce, absolutely. He thinks that Mike is also 5 years old. Like he loves Mike so much. What does Bryce? So happy. That was a big insecurity of mine for a while.
What does everyone call each other? Like, what does Bryce call Mike? Did you just call him Mike? Okay.
Yeah.
And then, Mike. And then, Tiffany, are you Tiffany to everybody, or are you okay? Great.
She's
and
mom when like I'm not around. Like if we're all out in public, Michael and both kids will obviously call me mom, just so he's not calling mom and we both turn around. But if she's out with Mike, he'll sometimes call her mom or whatever. It's the same thing when it's me and my husband. Like he'll be like dad, and Travis will turn around or whatever. It just depends. We don't care either way. Whatever makes them comfortable.
It's so sweet. One of the things that you guys said in one of your when you did like your interview that you posted was how Michael was actually mentioning like, Tiffany has that makeup at her. Like he was sort of connecting the dots for you. And it does sort of show that like kids do crave, what's the word? This is the gesture.
I know balance. He didn't realize that there was like a separation.
Schedule.
He was just like, my mom likes this and you also like this. And he's like, when kids like the same things, y'all bond. He didn't realize that there was like, any type of separation that you normally have. So he ended up putting it together and we're like, we do like the same things.
Now, and kids literally remember everything. Like anything you say negatively about the other household.
Yes.
I remember this from my own childhood, and I made sure to not do it, in my divorce and in my, my marriage and my ex-marriage.
We're doing it and we're still married. And
marriage,
we'll say things, and then all of a sudden Hannah will say something, and I'll go like, she's listening. We really have to.
Literally,
we have to stop
remember everything.
She's also sneaking around the house now at 9. Like Like
Who
things
Your
are
dog?
like, where did this come from? Or who was in this drawer?
His
Like,
daughter. His daughter.
oh no, my daughter, not Mike.
I was like, who's thinking her?
I was gonna say, how did Mike know where you lived?
Why is your wife sneaking around your house?
My, so my wife is going to be number 3. This has already been.
Listen, that's fine.
She's really happy like that.
Yeah, my kids are being sneaky now. They're super sneaky. And so sometimes I creep down because I think that I have to like take their iPads out of the room because I'm afraid one night.
You keep their iPads, and how old are your kids?
8 and gonna be 9.
Can you keep their iPads in their rooms?
No, God, no.
Oh, he said take the iPads out of the room.
I was like,
He was coming
I
to
took
get
them.
them.
Oh my God.
But some nights by accident I left in the room, and one night, the next day, she was so exhausted, and then it turns out she was like playing some stupid game all night long until she fell
Me
asleep.
too, Hannah. Me too, honey.
Sometimes I feel like that.
Emerged dragons or some horror.
That's better than finding your 5-year-old in the pantry at 2:00 in the morning, scaring the freaking. We have cameras like all in my house, and I get alerts. Like we have cameras on the outside the rings, and then we have them like inside the house. And I kept getting like notifications in the middle of the night. And I'm like, I have also 5 cats, so I was like, oh, maybe it's the cats. Like the first couple nights, it was my 5-year-old like sneaking in there and grabbing snacks. In the middle of the
Sneaking
night.
or sleepwalking?
It was definitely sneaking. He was not sleepwalking, but
Maybe
yeah, just in there. I know.
What's scarier than a kid on a night vision camera? There's nothing scary.
I'll tell you what it is. My
Because you
3-year-old.
just see like a dark figure, and then they can hear the cameras turn there, and they're like, and there's just like dark red eyes, and they're like,
That's
it's
not
horrifying.
That's honestly though not as scary as the times where we both lost the oldest because he fell asleep somewhere else.
oh my God. Hi,
Wait,
baby.
what is this?
So we've had times where like we've put for my house, for example, like I had a time where I put Michael to bed, and then for some reason, like I have super bad anxiety. So sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I like check on the kids or whatever, and Michael wasn't in his room. This is that like when we lived in Clearwater. And he wasn't in his room, and I was like, well, maybe, sometimes he like got up and like went and slept on the couch. I checked the couches. We had 2 living rooms, and I was like, okay, he's on either couch. Like, okay, well. So I went and like checked the bathtubs because maybe he fell asleep in the bathtub. Ha ha ha. And he wasn't there.
I'm getting
And I
so
was like,
nervous.
okay. And so I was like looking around. I was like, maybe he like fell asleep on the kitchen floor. Like, I don't know. And I'm like looking around, couldn't find him anywhere. So then I start freaking out. So I'm like checking the garage. I'm checking the backyard. I wake up my husband, and I'm like, I can't find Michael. And I'm about to text Mike and be like, we lost Michael. And I'm like checking the front yard. And he's like, don't text Mike yet. It's fine. I'm screaming for Michael. I'm looking everywhere. I'm checking the cameras. Can't see anything. And like 10, 15 minutes go by. I'm checking literally everywhere in the house. Michael is under my bed. Passed out sleeping. And he comes out on his own because he can hear me screaming for him. And I'm crying hysterically. And this is when he was like 5.
Yeah.
He crawls out from underneath my bed, and he was like, I was scared. And I was like, what the fuck?
You're like, that makes 2 of us.
That's
Everybody's had that, haven't you, Kate? I had the same
that's
thing.
what I'm saying. Like,
I had a bed skirt. I
We-
couldn't see underneath there. Like,
We-
why underneath my bed?
bonded over the same story because when she told me that she lost it, I'm like, oh, thank God, because I also lost your child. And I was like, but he wasn't under my bed. He was under our couch, and I couldn't find him. And
What, is
my
he a
husband was
mouse?
asleep, so I was like, by myself to freak out. I'm like, do I call 911? Do I
Yeah.
call the mother? Who do I call? And I'm like, oh my God, I lost this child. And I'm like, I'm so irresponsible. This is so bad. Me too. And he was asleep underneath our couch. And I was like, never again. I'm like, if you're scared, wake us up and do not hide again.
100%.
I am not a fan of hide and seek, and I will not go through this.
I know. I was like, all the doors were locked. I was like, did he have a key?
You're like,
That's
roll
something
the
happened
footage.
to us here too. We our 6-year-old pulled all the clothes out of our twins' dresser and put himself in the drawer, and then like somehow got it closed. We couldn't find him. He was asleep in the drawer.
Oh
no.
my God.
Yeah.
Heart attack.
Hannah hid. Mine hid. She hid in the back of the closet, and my wife was melting down, like running around the neighborhood. Like,
Yeah.
screaming. And I kept going, she's in the house. Trust me, she's hiding. And then I looked through the whole house, and I went through the closet like a couple times, and then I was like, okay, maybe something's what's happening. And then of course I was like, no, it's gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay. But I was starting to panic. And then we found her, and she was deliberately hiding. And my wife just was like, "You don't ever do that." Like,
I know. And you know what's funny? Not funny, scary, is Bryce is around that same age now. And I'm like checking every single morning. The other day was literally like 3 days ago. We've had like a really wonky sleep schedule ever since summer. So Bryce and I, for some reason, we've been staying up. Actually, it's not for some reason. We've been watching The Amazing Race. Okay, and we've been staying up till like 2 o'clock in the morning, watching Amazing Race on all the old seasons. And
wait, so you two need to do that. We'll come back to it. I'm sorry. You keep going, but you two need to do it. Okay, never mind. Go ahead. Sorry.
Maybe one day.
You have to do that.
The Holderness family
The
won it.
family did it, yeah.
They did, and they won.
Penn,
And,
Yeah.
it
It could happen.
I feel like that would
be
be
Amazing Race and catching up on all the seasons, learning some stuff. And so we have been he's been sleeping until like 10:30, 11 o'clock, which normally isn't what happens, but I understand he's been staying up late with me watching Amazing Race. So the other day he slept until 12:30, and I'm like, okay, well that's a little weird. He's obviously he's passed away. Like I'm watching the camera, like I'm like, that's really weird. I need to go in there and like resuscitate him. Like that's not normal. Like that's my first thought of literally everything is like, oh God, my parenting, I've lost, I guess. So I went in there and he's as soon as I walk in, and I'm like, oh, thank God you're alive. Thank you. Now it's time to get up.
Kids stress me out.
They really do stress me out.
Oh yeah.
They stress all of us out.
Yeah, there's
when the kid's a baby, you sit and listen to see if it's breathing in the crib.
Yes.
And then you shake it a little bit just to wake it up, and then it
Yes.
starts screaming, and you're like, "Oh, you don't."
What
do
did I
that.
do?
Now I've done it. But that
After
was
a few
literally
months
what
of
I
that,
was
you go, "Well,
expected to do.
if it's gone, it's gone. There's nothing I can do anymore about it. I can't."
Yeah. Literally, I walk in there multiple times, and I'm like,
Yep. Everybody.
like, are you okay? Is the chest going? Like, but then you wake them up, and then it's like,
I ran right for the pool. I ran out to the backyard and just looked in the pool. Like that was always my first reaction.
Oh,
Let's
God,
go to the
yes.
pool.
well, now I check under the bed because you know, like you never know. So
it's so funny. I was thinking like you guys need to make a petition. You know the way they got rid of bumpers and cribs years ago? You need to get rid of bed skirts on beds.
I said yes.
You guys got to get the book started.
Well, you have to have like the mesh bumpers now. Uh-oh.
Yeah, we do.
Really?
That's what we have as a
I haven't had a kid in almost 6 years. So
Yeah.
Bumper technology's come a long way in the last 4 years. Yeah,
you either have to get vertical. You get vertical bumpers, which I had, so that basically they just need to not be able to put their face against something.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, get rid of bumpers. They got rid of bumpers. Now we got to get rid of bed skirts. No more hiding children.
What's funny is so like obviously I had Michael in 2010, and when he was 1 year old, you could turn him face fronting or whatever. When I had Bryce in 2017, I went to go turn him, and the pediatrician was like, "No, ma'am, not till he's 2." And I was like,
their knees are in their chin at that point. Like they're 2 years old.
They were like, "No, you can't.
This is not safer."
What? I drive 40 miles an hour tops. Like I really
know.
have to. Okay.
And also, if you can't find them, what I've done now is I got the Air Tags, the Apple Air Tags.
Oh,
and
just got those.
Taped it around
and
the
then
ring.
you got you got it on the app, and you can just ring them.
You can see wherever they are. You can find them, so you know where they are.
Gene, I've done the same thing. I find it eventually when my twins are, have the ankle monitors from actual prison that it will be very hard to use.
Make it easier when they have the bracelets that they have to wear.
Oh, for sure. So how was twins? I have so many questions. Twins run in both of our families. Luckily, that's why I gave up on having kids. I wasn't willing to risk it, but she's next
gamble.
also.
Well, the joy that you guys have now, that
You'll
will
never
end.
have that.
That will end. Basically, the thing nobody ever tells you is that when the egg splits, so does the soul. Each kid just.
Oh, yeah. No, I get that.
Yeah, it's not. Did I have a fantastic? Do I love my children? 2 of them, yes,
Yeah.
because Pennsylvania state law says that I have to.
You have to.
Yeah. The first 3 months is brutal. After you get them on a sleeping schedule, it's.
But how hard is that, though? How hard is it to get them both on the same sleeping schedule?
It's if you manage the eating schedule, it really depends on the eating. So like if you can get them to eat everybody cared to tell us to do it at the same time. That is just not manageable, because for my wife, it was not manageable. And for me, it was not manageable. But if you can get the sleeping or the eating schedule to be one right after the other, you can usually get like an hour to an hour and a half. And then she and I would just flip-flop. Correct.
I got to tell you, moms of Tampa, keep making that internet money and then just hire a night nurse. Okay. That's what you got to do.
Exactly.
We ended up having to call people in to help us. Well, so, yeah, I mean, so Tiffany, good luck. If that happens to you.
If that happens to you.
I will send you every bit of information I can if I notice that happens.
Yeah.
And then once you guys do blow up and you do the Amazing Race and you have your TV show and your book, then Mike can just be your assistant. He'll just be one of your assistants.
Yes.
Mike's gonna be your assistant? No, it's a no for me.
No,
Love him so much.
I think it's mom number 3, Kate Mulligan.
He can watch the kids. He's really good with the kids. He can absolutely take on. Him and my husband can go do that. We're gonna hire someone.
You know what we need to do? We need to have them on the show. We need to have the 2 husbands on the show.
Yeah,
so.
They would love it.
You should do a game night with the moms versus dads.
Yeah, exactly.
But
that's what we do. 2 competitions.
You want to talk about not being able to curse? They would love it. They have dads at Tampa that they do. And
Oh, they do?
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
They love it. You should absolutely have them on. They are way more entertaining and way more funny than us.
That's not possible.
No, I disagree. Not at all.
Well, I am saying that to be nice because I love them.
No,
they are a hot mess. Like, ugh.
I mean, I will say, I saw they told the story about when they got the new kayaks and they went out on the retention pond and behind Tiffany. And Mike flipped over and like basically a dysentery pond, like just the absolute worst. And then the next day, so you and Travis were at the house spending the night, like on the couch, right, Megan?
Yes, we stayed at their house for 3 days, and we were at your house for 4 days total, I think. And Mike and Travis were a freaking mess, and they decided to go buy. It was their first time like really getting along. And then one day they were like, we're going to go to Applebee's and go get drinks. And I was like, okay, whatever.
I think that's what solidified their friendship.
Yeah, they
the
went to Applebee's.
4-day binge period of hanging out with no one else but each other made like besties for resties.
They went and drank like buy one, get one Long Island.
Yes.
And then they called us and they were like, hey, we're going to go get kayaks. And I was like, okay, whatever, man. Go do what you got to do. They went out and bought kayaks all the way down in Sarasota, which I don't know, you know where that is, but it's like an hour and a half south of where she lives. Went all the way down there to buy kayaks, came back, and they were like, hey, we all went out to dinner, and they were like, we're gonna go test out our kayaks. And I was like, whatever, bro, like, rock on, whatever. So they went out on the kayaks till 4 o'clock in the morning. We were supposed to be at the beach at like 8 o'clock. And Mike ended up tipping over the kayak. Yeah. And Mike, I just remember I was sleeping on the pull-out couch, and Mike came inside dripping, like smelling like
dysentery.
like like disgusting. Just
like whatever killed everyone in the Civil War is what was all over Mike.
It was the first time that
it was like the Oregon Trail, whatever you died from in the Oregon Trail, like that's what that was.
Cholera, I believe it's cholera.
Cholera, yeah.
It was a hot mess.
But then also Mike wakes you. Didn't Mike wake you and Travis up the next morning wearing scuba gear, being like, "Let's go"?
He was like, "No." He's like, he lost his chair out there. Yeah, never been found. So he's like, "I'm gonna go diving out there." And I'm like, "What the heck?"
They just sound like the best disaster ever.
And then Travis went out there and so he could go help them. And then we ended up going to the beach the next day with their kayaks, and Mike ended up flipping over
losing it again. So he's very
in the ocean,
not together apparently.
And then Travis just left him because Travis was like, or is it like this? Like, hey, like he's like, I'm fine, friend. You can go.
Oh, it's so sweet though.
Their friendship is so sweet and so pure though. Like it honestly just makes my heart so happy, like seeing them and the kids. Like it's just the most genuine, like heartfelt thing.
I remember seeing that Applebee's commercial. It's beautiful. The 2 guys go to Long Island and then they go.
That's what it is.
Thing is in an Applebee's commercial. Really. You guys, you should do some sketches like that. I mean, it's really. I love when you go, no, he's the greatest dad. He's super responsible. He does this. Then he went to Applebee's for Long Island iced tea, 2 for 1s, and then went kayaking. But he's a great dad. He's so great.
We love a bargain hunter, though.
Yeah.
Like,
that's true. Yeah.
And
saving money. You know what? That's a chapter in your book.
Yes.
How to find the positivity in any situation.
Also, to be clear, dads would never get bagged about drinking while having kids, whereas I'm sure the moms get it all the time.
All the time. We get roasted all the time, and
It's unbelievable.
I'm like,
I think that's the most relatable thing about you.
Yeah, truly.
When you go to a kid's birthday party and they're serving beer and wine, and you're like, well, of course
for sure.
Yeah,
Like,
and then you're like, everybody's driving home, right?
Yeah, every single day after work, but God forbid, you know, like that's the one thing. Like we've been doing this for a while, and there's been comparing, and there's been all kinds of stuff that's like gone to us at one point or another where we have to like kind of lift each other up and be like, hey, you know, be there for each other. Drinking's never been one of them because I don't give a flying fish. Fish, whatever.
Yes.
You know, like
correct.
I do not care. I like to drink. I'm responsible when I drink. I'm 32 years old. If I want to drink, I'm gonna drink. My kids are taken care of. My bills are paid.
And also, P.S. It's none of your business.
Yeah. For the next time I come down to Epcot, we can drink around the world all together.
I mean, that felt like the title of the book right there. I don't care what the fuck you think. I'm gonna have a hard seltzer. Here we go. I'm hard AF. Here we go, man.
Taken care of, bathed, groceries in the house. Like they are taken care of. They don't sit in front of the TV all day. We all play not video games. We all play. Well, we do play video games all together sometimes.
Love it.
We are absolutely taken care of. My kids and gifted. They don't that matters, but the kids are taken care of 100%.
They might be wearing the same clothes as yesterday, but they're loved and
that's their own choice, though. It's because we have boys and they like to just not.
Absolutely,
shower.
That is correct. Yes.
My husband.
I have girls and they don't like to shower either. My girls are wearing the same clothes.
Really? Is that the case?
I think
My girls are animals. Yeah, they're great. I have two
Men in general are a filthy creature. It's just how they are.
My husband actually
on Friday. I don't feel like I have to shower again.
That's how I am too.
Sometimes, not always, but
my husband was the youngest of four. I'm sorry, my husband was the youngest of four. I'm sorry, I keep trying to say this, but he wore the same pair of New England Patriots sweatpants every day to school, and they had to call home and tell his mother. They're like, Richard's wearing the same thing every day. Could you make sure? And they were like so embarrassed because 4 kids, they don't remember what but I just
is it because it was the Patriots? Is that what it was?
Like they were like,
get logo?
If you wash them, no, because our husbands are the same way. Like if you wash a Lightning shirt, you know, obviously we're from Tampa Bay,
it's bad luck.
Like you can't wash it, and
yeah, they have Bucks jerseys that stink, but guess what?
It's good.
The Bucks were winning, so
that's
it's
right.
Stinky as heck.
Hey, I'm from New England, so I'm a Patriots guy, so I have to root against Brady now. I have to root against Brady.
No, trust me, I get it. Like I said, I grew up with 4 boys. Like I'm the oldest of 4, and my brothers, they stank, man. Like the bathroom stank, the room stank. Like they just did, and so.
But then you go to college. Once you're in college or even after, when girls have their own apartments and you go to a girl's apartment and go into their bathroom, girls are way messier than boys.
Oh, for sure.
Girls are you walk into an apartment.
I think my college room was pretty clean though.
I've seen your room and your makeup
my
room.
College room.
Your college
room.
Your adult room,
but also
is a mess, and so is mine.
Tiffany, I have a prediction that you have really pretty handwriting. Am I crazy?
You're crazy. You're extra
crazy.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Sometimes I get confused because I think it's our 11-year-old writing. Her handwriting is the worst.
You know what it is? It's this younger generation. You didn't have to take handwriting classes, probably.
Or
Listen.
scripts. You didn't have to learn how to. Or you learned how to write script, right? Oh, I'm aging you so bad. I'm sorry.
It's so embarrassing because I'm so girly and I was in a sorority and everything, but I write like a little boy. I can't figure it out. I don't know. No one's
I'm the opposite. I grew up like super emo and like skater punk kid, and I mean my handwriting's pretty awful. Also.
Yeah, it is. It's another little boy.
Well, you know what is great about both of you? How kind you are, how much positive you're putting out there. It's not the point, but it is the message. Do you know what I mean? I love that for all of us that we get to watch you guys. And Tiffany, I just want to say I'm sorry for the struggles you have had in trying to conceive. I love the outlook that you're a mom no matter what. We've kept you for so long. I'm so sorry we have to let you guys go. But you two, you two truly, I know you're, if anybody, so any of our friends, if you are not following them, follow them because it's just such a feel good thing. But it's also just, as I said, it's just watching two friends tear it up.
And so besides the upcoming season of Amazing Race, where else can we find you?
Maybe one day on The Amazing Race.
Maybe one day.
Find us. So we're everywhere and anywhere. We're on Facebook, Instagram,
TikTok,
and
YouTube,
yeah.
Podcasts.
We have a podcast which has a different name. It's From Blended to Besties, and that's where we talk about anything and everything co-parenting,
awesome.
mom, hot mess related.
Everywhere else, we're Moms of Tampa.
Will you tell your husbands we're gonna have them on, please? I want to have Dads of Tampa on, and then maybe
Absolutely.
They would love that. Their schedules.
I want to do a newlywed game.
Yeah.
100%.
Where we do like the questions and you guys have to answer against each other. We have to figure it out, but we'll have to have
That
them.
would be so fun.
You have our email.
You guys
and our
are
numbers,
awesome.
so let's do it.
When we first kind of saw what you guys were doing and we wanted to bring you in, I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be I thought, it's like this is a murder suicide waiting to happen. Like this is gonna be awesome. And then I watched a bunch of your stuff and I was like, this is the feel good story of the year.
It really is.
I feel like we're pretty chill. Like,
Yeah.
I loved earlier that you said you have anxiety because
100%.
most people do, and you guys totally come off chill. But as a parent, you can't help it. You have anxiety about your children in this crazy world we're living in. So it's just nice that you guys make the kids first, and I think that's really that's rule one in parenting is it's all about the kids, and you guys kind of bent and did everything great. So I don't know. I don't have anything else to say. I thank you guys so much for coming.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us. I really appreciate it.
It was awesome. All right, Moms of Tampa, go find them. That's it for this very special edition of the Parents Lounge. We'll see you guys. We're every Tuesday night live at 7 p.m. Pacific time. YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, I don't know, everywhere. So love
Twitch, Twitter, some actors will play.
We love Twitter.
I'm in Twitter. TikTok, I think.
MySpace.
TikTok.
All right, that's it from the Parents Lounge.